culture from the heart, it is really about people. We're a people-centric company, and our leadership, my team, we lead with intent and purpose, and it all circles around people. What it does is it gets you also understanding on what's happening outside of just culture. Do we have a machine problem? Do we have a downage? Is it going to affect our customer base? We hire based on our 4 values. We fire based on our 4 values. But I always give everybody the chance that as long as you have 3 of the 4 values, we'll work on those. You don't have integrity in our organization, there's a good chance that you're not going to last very long. This will never be green because culture is never finished. It's never static. It is fluid, and we have to continue to build. You really think you know how to deal with conflict and problems until you hear that there's options and theories and strategies that you can tweak your mind a little bit and think a little bit differently. That might be a better or more proactive approach to it, or a softer approach to it. We have an open door policy here that people must have. If my door is open, anybody can walk in.
Welcome to the Culture from the Heart podcast on the From the Heart Business Network. In a business world where employees and customers crave authenticity and trust, hosts Larry Levine and Darrell are on a mission to find and showcase heart-centered executives and the companies they lead. You are about to hear an inspiring conversation with a visionary leader that's bringing heart into the workplace, empowering employees, serving their clients, and uplifting communities, all to create true success. This is Culture from the Heart. The movement starts here. Let's begin.
Welcome to Culture from the Heart. I'm your co-host, Darrell, here today with Larry Levine, and we're joined in the studio by Jon Kronemeyer, president of Dahl Valve, the premier manufacturer of stop valves in the plumbing industry. Jon, welcome to Culture from the Heart. It's great to have you here.
I'm excited, guys. I mean, we've known each other a long time, so the first time being invited, I can't believe I'm here. So I'm looking forward to it.
So are we. Hey, we're gonna have a good time, Darrell. I know we are.
No question as we get started, Jon. You know the question that every guest on the Culture from the Heart podcast answers, and that is, what does Culture from the Heart mean to you?
So thank goodness I watched all your podcasts, so I knew this one was coming. So I prepped. I was able to prep on this one, but for us, culture from the heart, it is really about people. We're a people-centric company, and in our leadership, my team, we lead with intent and purpose, and it all circles around people. What we do here, and what I believe in is getting under. We call it, getting under the carriage a little bit, under the hood, and understanding what's really making people tick, and understanding some of the challenges and problems that they run into on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis. And so for me, it's coming to work every day and focusing on people and making people happy. And that's really what it comes down to. I don't have an elaborate answer more than that. We've always focused on, and I've always believed, that if you have a solid culture, people are happy. And if you have solid values and behavioral circling around your leadership team, behaviors that exude down from the floor right up to the ELT, so to speak, you're going to have happy people. And that's what I believe is a strong culture.
Hey, Jon, you know what? I'm really glad that you brought people and you put people, first, but you used a phrase that's just brand new to me. I get the lifting up the hood, but you mentioned looking under the carriage.
Yeah.
So when Jon's looking under the carriage, right, in this people-centric environment, what are you looking for? I'm just curious because you piqued my interest with the phrase.
It's about really digging in and really understanding what issues and challenges people have. It's easy as a president or CEO to walk by an operator, an hourly paid person that you ask, how you doing today? And they could be having a terrible day, but you're the president, and they may just say, oh, I'm good. They're afraid to either voice their opinion because of the title. And so what we have here is really, we have an open policy, open door policy here that people must have. If my door is open, anybody can walk in. That is a policy. And that's with my ELT team as well. And so, when we talk about kind of getting under the carriage a little bit is actually going out and asking and standing there and talking to them, and then asking, what are you working on today? What are you doing? How's the machine running? As soon as you start asking 2 or 3 questions, you start getting under the carriage a little bit. Then it becomes a little bit, there's almost an instant relaxation and trust with them. And they, the machine's not working that great today. Oh, really? Oh, how come? Hey, what's going on with it? Well, it's doing this, and this. Did you let the supervisor know? No, I just haven't had. Let me take care of that for you. I'll get the supervisor. And you start to understand, what's happening in that part of that segment of the business. And so we really focus about that here is getting out and talking to every level, every person in this organization, and not just saying, "Hey, how's it going today?" It's the 2, 3, 4 questions about what they're doing or where they're coming from. And you start to understand a lot more about what's happening under the carriage.
Yeah, I think that's really, really powerful, because you're absolutely right. That first question, especially if it's coming from an executive like yourself, is everyone's gonna want to look good, stiffen up a little bit and straighten up a little bit, which I think is fine. But having the ability to dig deeper and really see what's going on seems like a really, really powerful mindset to have when it comes to really taking the temperature of what's going on inside your organization.
Yeah, it's easy to come into the building and go to your office and open up your computer and do emails and do your meetings and so on and so forth. And you've heard the terms ivory tower leadership and living in your silos, and it's quite frankly, it's real, and it's what was here in some degree. And I would even argue we're not perfect, so it's still here in some degree, but that's the stuff that we're kind of working on. And so, for me, I discover all kinds of different things just by asking simple questions. But then you also get to know the person. I can walk out on the floor, or I can walk into any one of my departments, and for the most part, I know most of the names. Now we have a lot of people because it's hourly staff and temp staff, so there's a lot of changes, of course. But for the most part, the people that have been here with some tenure, I know them, and I can walk to the striving machine. Hey, Angelo, how's it going today? And we'll talk about the Leafs, and we'll talk about this, and then I'll notice that something's going on with the machine, or maybe it's not running. What's going on with the machine? Well, and they feel like you care, and they're good or open to tell you what's happening. And then you also, as the leader at that point, have to have the accountability towards Angelo to go and help them out. But what it does is it gets you also understanding on what's happening outside of just culture. Do we have a machine problem? Do we have a downage? Is it going to affect our customer base? And so by asking multiple questions, and it doesn't take a lot. It's 2 or 3 questions. How you doing? How's it going today? What you up to? And you can usually dig in there. And sometimes you don't get anything, but most of the time there's a golden nugget that you can take to the supervisor or the leader of that particular area and just, hey, FYI. And that usually drives to either root cause analysis, a solution, whatever that may be. But more importantly, it creates the trust with you and your team member. And when you do it as the leader and your executive team does it, and then their team does it, and it starts to go downhill, that's when you start to get a really powerful culture of people asking great questions, finding out what's going on, and developing that people first mindset that, these leaders, these managers, they really care about what I'm doing and helping me. And we do that as much as we can here.
Hey, Darrell, you know what I was just thinking, just really quick? It's a great signaling device, because what John's describing is it's signaling that he cares. But then afterwards, I bet you the conversations that happen after John walks away is priceless, because they're talking amongst themselves going, you know what? John gets it. He gets me.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Well, you're listening to Culture from the Heart. And when we come back from a brief break to hear from our sponsors, we're going to dive deeper into the culture at Dahl Valve. So we'll join you here in just a moment.
At Culture from the Heart, we believe that leadership starts with putting people first. That's why we've partnered with Learn It, a trusted name in live learning for over 30 years, to bring you an exciting opportunity. 45 days of free, unlimited training for your team for groups of 5 or more.
This isn't just another training program. It's a chance to build a learning culture where your people feel seen, supported, and empowered. Did you know that 94% of employees are more likely to stay with companies that invest in their development? With Learn It, you're doing more than offering training. You're showing your team they're at the heart of everything you do.
Learn It's live, expert-led courses cover essential skills like communication, emotional intelligence, and collaboration. Tools that drive not just retention, but true growth and connection.
Ready to take the next step? Visit learnit.com/culture to claim your 45 days of free training and start creating a culture where your people and your business can thrive.
That's learnit.com/culture. Start leading with purpose and empowering your team today.
And we're back with Jon Kronemeyer, president of Dahl Valve, talking about culture at his organization. And Jon, if I were to walk into your company and say, hey, what are some words that would describe the culture that you're creating at Dahl Valve? What are some of the words you would hope to hear?
I would probably refer back to our values, because they're the centerpiece of everything that we do. We've got 4 core values: teamwork, growth, service excellence, and integrity. And everybody that comes into this organization sees it on the walls. They see it in the factory. They see it in our offices. It's everywhere. And for us, though, it's a message that goes to everybody in our organization. Every new person, doesn't matter where they are in this company, they meet with me when they start. Within the first week, they meet with me, and I go over the mission, the vision, and most importantly, our values. And my message to them, and messages at town halls and things like that, my messages are very simple: is we hire based on our 4 values, we fire based on our 4 values. But I always give everybody the chance that as long as you have 3 of the 4 values, we'll work on those. You may have integrity, and you may be a growth-minded individual, and you may be a team player, but you're not really used to service excellence or customer service mindset. We'll work on that. We'll teach you what that is. But one of those 3 has to be integrity. That's it. That's all. You don't have integrity in our organization, there's a good chance that you're not going to last very long, or you've already been moved out. And we spent last year, and we'll probably do it again this year, we've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on restructuring. And that doesn't necessarily mean letting people go, but that means onboarding new people as well. And but it's so important that for us, that those 4 values, those 4 words are everywhere. And people believe that, the leadership is focused on them. If somebody were to come in and say, what are you working towards, and what are the 4 most important things in this company? I would hope that they drive to those 4 words, our 4 values.
Hey, this is really good. And I'm just curious, when it comes to a reinforcement part of this, how do you and your leadership team reinforce this and cascade this? And how do you keep your finger on the pulse to make sure that everybody's implementing and integrating those? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's I've gone to a lot of companies where it's just 4 words on the wall, and you could run your finger over the frame, and there's about 1.5 inches of dust, and that they're not really following it. So I've been there, I've seen it, and so for us, I mean, there's several different ways that we do it. Obviously, the visibility part. So our marketing team is actually, I hate the word mandated, but we work with our marketing team to ensure that every department has access to it. So if they want to do something that has to do with culture, or they want to do some sort of promotion, for an example, our operations team is running an operational excellence program right now. That's a culture shift within its own. And so they have access to the marketing team and marketing dollars to put visibility, marketing tools out there, whether it be banners or signage or tablecloths, whatever that may look like. And so we are constantly changing and putting those 4 words and our mission and vision kind of everywhere. The other thing we do very well, I think personally, is we run really good town halls. We do that on a quarterly basis. And, for us, the town halls always start with the reading of our mission and vision and our 4 values. And then from there, we actually developed a color system to kind of tell people how we're doing, because most people in most organizations, and I've been there, they go to work to do the job. If you ask most people in most organizations, why are you doing what you're doing? What does it mean when you push that button 24 times an hour or 60 times an hour? What does it mean? What does it mean when you're really going to see a customer and trying to sell a valve? What are you doing it for? Commission's good, but what's the greater good? And so we really talk about the vision of the company and where we're going and how we're doing. And so our town halls, it's red, green, yellow. And, our quarter 1 town hall, we talk about the fact that our top line revenue, it was red. I held up a red card, and then I get my VP of sales to stand up there and say, this is why. This is why we were a little behind, but this is what quarter 2 is going to look like. Profit, same thing. It was green, so it's good. And I get my COO to stand up there and he steps up and he talks about why we were green. And a large part of that was because of some operational wins that we had that drove some profitability of the company. And then we usually stand up there for culture and I hold a yellow card. And my message to everybody, every time I hold a yellow card, is that, hey, this will never be green. Just an FYI, because culture is never finished. It's never static. It is fluid, and we have to continue to build. Just when you think you have a perfect culture is exactly when you don't. And so the foot is always on the gas. And I have a rock star director of human resource, and she is constantly working on different things to reinforce what we're trying to do. And so we do great town halls. We do great leadership meetings. All of our teams hold one-on-ones with individuals and people to talk about the greater good of the vision, where we're going. More importantly, it's not just how you're doing on your KPIs. And then we do a ton of social events, Darrell, a ton. So what we really try to do is get everybody together. We run 3 shifts in the factory, and we have our office staff, and we have a wall that divides. But you would think you would have the Great Wall of China divided, because half the time they're not talking, right? It's really quite interesting. And so we hold a lot of social events where we shut the factory down for a full day of production. We've gone to parks, we play games, we do barbecues. The night shift gets to talk to the day shift. The day shift supervisor gets to talk to the afternoon shift supervisor. The marketing manager gets to talk to the team leads. And it's a great time that we do that. We do that. It's actually a KPI for our HR manager, and we run 6 of those events every year. And then every month we hold what's called Espresso Yourself. Once a month, it's just for the office staff, and the upstairs and bottom, they come together. We get coffee and donuts, and we, for 30 minutes from 9 to 9:30 once a month, everybody gets together in the showroom and we just drink coffee and chat. So we do those, but everywhere we go, the values are there. They're there, and they're broadcasted out there.
I love this. I'm just remembering back to something you showed a few minutes ago about the marketing team actually having a mandate and a budget to promote the culture. I think this is really, really innovative. Why do you think it's important for the marketing team to be able to be like promoting the culture inside the organization?
Well, it does a couple of things, right? It drives other department leaders to work with our marketing. Marketing has always been, I don't want to use the word pigeonhole, but it's sales and marketing, right? And then product, sales, marketing, and product. And they live on one side of the world, and they work towards the greater sales trajectory and sales growth. And that's what their job has always been. But when was last time I worked in a manufacturing facility, or where the marketing manager is working with our afternoon shift supervisor, putting together a little marketing piece, or getting some, custom-made cookies for their team for a big win, or whatever that may look like. And so, right behind me here, I've got it's a little lunchbox, and in the lunchbox has a bunch of different things, and it's called the dahl conflict resolution kit. All right.
Okay,
It's
we gotta
good.
see this.
There you go.
Okay.
That's great.
And
I love it.
what is that? And so we do a lot of seminars with our team. So we just ran a harassment and bullying seminar, mandatory for all staff to go through, including myself. And this one here, we just ran, our HR director ran a 4-hour meeting on how to coach our management team and supervisory team, how to deal with conflict. And so it was situated for an hour and a half. And I said, well, why not? Let's build this thing. Let's do it. I said, go talk to our marketing manager, Alan, and go get some stuff done, And so they did, and they collaborated and came up with a whole whack of different marketing things and handouts and certificates. And it made the experience so much more impactful, to the point where you're getting emails back now from people saying, wow, that was amazing. And then I had our, COO say that conflict we got to do that now for the next level. We got to do that for the other office team members and stuff. So it's more impactful when marketing can spice it up and drive it home. I think it's great. And then it creates that cohesion and teamwork that we're really focused on too.
Oh, hey, John's just giving us a lunchbox full of ideas, Darrell, Amy. I had to throw that one out there.
This is a great time to take a quick break. And when we come back from our little snack here with the promotion from our sponsors, we'll dive deeper into some practical applications of all this. See you in a minute. At Culture from the Heart, we know that hiring the right salespeople and leaders for your company is about more than just resumes. It's about finding individuals who have what it takes to succeed. That's why we're excited to offer candidate assessments from Selling from the Heart to help ensure you make great hiring decisions for your sales team.
Based on data from surveys of over 2.2 million sales professionals and sales leaders, these assessments benchmark your candidates against the core skills of top-performing salespeople and leaders. You'll gain unparalleled insight into their potential, uncovering whether they have the mindset, abilities, and behaviors needed to thrive in your organization.
It's not just about filling a role. It's about ensuring that every sales hire aligns with your culture and contributes to your success. Don't leave your next hire to chance.
Visit sellingfromtheheart.net/hiring and discover how candidate assessments can help you build a winning team. Make your next hire with confidence, because your business deserves the best.
Thanks for listening to that break. Let's get back to the heart of today's episode. John, when we took a break, we were talking about the conflict resolution kit and how you actually have your marketing team with a budget and mandate and saying, go out and make things special inside the organization. And I know over the break, we were talking about the lunchbox. So you got to show us what's inside the lunchbox. So I think the level of creativity here is just brilliant.
Yeah, for sure. I give full credit to Rose, our HR director, and Annalyn and Kirsten on the marketing team for putting this together. But we've got the dahl aid kit, and the cool thing with the dahl aid kit is you've got a bunch of different things in there, from tissues to support emotional safety. You've got the stress ball, take away tension. There's chocolate for sweetness, tough moments. There's the dahl approach. There's Band-Aids, because empathy goes a long way. There's mints to freshen your mindset. So there's a whole whack. And what's cool is
so good.
Number 2 is our mission, vision, and values. It's always in there. Yeah. And so it was well done. And they had it sitting in front of us for 4 hours. We could not open it until the end. And once we did it all aligned with the presentation. So.
Oh, this is so good. Hey, what did you learn through this whole thing? I'm fascinated by this. What did y'all start learning as this was rolled out? And now that everyone, leadership has these lunchbox, these aid kits, what are you starting to learn through all of this?
Well, I think that what ends up coming is every leader, manager, and I'm going to say myself too, everybody assumes that we know how to deal with conflict. And, but just like anything, there's strategies and theories that can help and it gets you thinking a different way. And I think that's probably the most impactful area is it got everybody thinking differently on how we can resolve problems and conflicts. And then what else can we do? Where else can we bring, whether it be this singular message, which already we've had feedback, like I said earlier, that we need to do this for now our team members and other associates. So they also know from a peer-to-peer standpoint, maybe I can resolve this without having to escalate. And so we're gonna drive that. So I think what you end up learning is one, you really think you know how to deal with conflict and problems, but until you hear that there's options and theories and strategies that you can, tweak your mind a little bit and think a little bit differently, that might be a better or more proactive approach to it or a softer approach to it. You need these types of outlets in order to learn that.
Yeah, that's so powerful. I just hats off to you and the marketing team because I'm just sitting here thinking, yeah, every company, when it comes to culture, I think obviously the HR team and the executive team and all of that, but the marketing team is, in most companies, marketing team is generating demand. They're promoting the brand out to the marketplace in general. But how clever for an organization to go, hey, let's understand we're also promoting this brand internally. We're promoting these core values and it takes more than just saying them. Let's get creative in all of that. I just got to say hats off. I think you're onto something really special here in terms of getting marketing engaged, not only in the cross-pollination of them working with different people in the organization, but in just telling the organization, hey, let's make this fun. We're serious about this and we're having a good time at the same time. I really, really love that. What advice would you give to other CEOs who are listening in going, I never thought about getting my marketing team engaged in enhancing the culture?
Yeah. I mean, start, if you have a marketing department, sit down and figure out what you can do and how much, if you have the ability to segment some budget dollars to out, other things other than sales and product. And if you're able to do that, if not, it doesn't take a lot of money. I mean, you're talking, a few $100 here and there to make a little bit more of a splash. So, for me, my recommendation for any leader is, sit down with your sales and marketing manager or leader and have them come up with some cool and different ideas based on what they have in the pipeline. So, I have this particular event coming up and this is what I was going to do. I was going to do an hour PowerPoint presentation, which is your standard for most delivery of meetings. But this is a very important message that we need to get out to our team. How can we make it more impactful? What suggestions or ideas do you have that we can do this? And whether it be, like I said, pop-up banners that are interchangeable, tablecloths, cookies that are custom. I mean, it's not, we're not building rocket ships. All we're doing is just making it more fun and special for the team members that have to generally dread sitting in a PowerPoint presentation for an hour. I mean, it's called a spade a spade. Most people have to go to meetings for conflict resolution are not getting up that morning saying, oh my gosh, I can't wait for this 4-hour meeting, right? So the fact that they have come out of that and said, wow, let's do that again. That's hats off to our marketing and HR department.
Oh, this is so good. Hey, just before we wrap this up, and John, I know we've had a great time, but I just got to ask you this only because I know Jon Kronemeyer. So this is a question for you. You have your town hall meeting. Yeah. Everyone's in the town hall meeting. John leaves. John's not in the room. What do you hope people are saying about Jon Kronemeyer?
Well, one, I hope they miss me. I hope that they're saying that, that there's a new fresh energy that Jon brought, and the culture shift and the focus on growth from not just sales, but people, growth in people, and somebody that is empathetic and listened to me when I had a problem and drove a great culture. Those are the things for me that are the most important. It was actually funny. I I just had an interview for a position that we're doing, and I did the interview, and this particular person asked, what do you want your legacy to be at Dahl? And it was a great question. I never had that in an interview. And I said, well, one, I want to take the company to the next level. We want to grow. And two, I want to make sure that when I leave, that the people that come in are just, if somebody says, I don't know who did it, but this culture in this company is amazing, that to me would make me the most happiest.
Wow. Well, that sums it up really, really well. Jon, thank you so much for sharing your time, your expertise, your heart with us today. As expected, this has been an incredible conversation.
No, I appreciate it. This was an honor. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, guys.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. Larry, amazing conversation. And I know I keep coming back to this marketing thing, but I think this is, so many people that we've talked to on Culture from the Heart, so many leaders have brought in this concept of employee experience, and can we create that kind of an employee experience? I think what Jon has come up with here is something super simple, very easy to implement, but very profound in terms of showing people inside the organization how valuable they are, getting teams talking together, and making boring things fun, like conflict resolution. I think that is simple and incredibly powerful.
It's very clever because I think this is how things get remembered. Because let's just face it, when it comes to conflict resolution, if it was me personally, I'd get sweaty palms and I'd be going, okay, now what? How do I deal with all of this?
Right.
But that lunchbox aid, brilliant concept.
Yeah, hats off. Well, thank you for joining us on Culture from the Heart. And our commitment to you is to bring best practices, fresh ideas like the ideas today from the best leaders and heart-centered organizations all over the world. If you know a heart-centered leader, go to culturefromtheheart.com. We'd love for you to nominate your CEO to be interviewed. And I'm so excited about all the things that are coming up right here on Culture from the Heart.
Absolutely. And it's small little changes like Jon shared with us today. But if you can implement small little changes, it creates massive ripple inside your company.
Hear, hear. Well, thank you for joining us today on Culture from the Heart. Until next time, lead with your heart and watch your culture thrive.
Thank you for joining us on this journey to discover heart-centered leaders shaping extraordinary company cultures. To access a leader guide with notes from this week's episode, simply click the link in the show notes or visit us at www.culturefromtheheart.com. Do you know a CEO who's built a culture from the heart? We'd love to hear their story. Head over to www.culturefromtheheart.com and click the Nominate Your CEO button. Until next time, remember, great cultures start with the heart.